This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Hey guys, Keith Engel for TGI Sports Talks weekly vlog with TGI Sports Talks weekly vlog right here on Northeast Streaming Sports. We won't be live. This is recorded. I know some of you guys will comment, and please do comment. I welcome the comments. I just want you to know that I'm not live, so if I don't answer you, I'm not ignoring you, I promise, because I know every week it seems like some people think I'm live when this goes. I try to do it in the morning and schedule it for later in the day. And again, I thank the groups that allow me to share this to you guys. And you can catch it on Roku on demand as well once Mac has got it posted. Listen, guys, I want to talk a little bit, and I've talked about this in the past, at least these two guys individually. Yankees, Buck Showalter, sorry, Freudian slip. I want it to be the Yankees, Buck Showalter, so now you know where I stand. The Mets, Buck Showalter, the Yankees, Aaron Boone. Now, I could be wrong a few months from now, but I've seen there's enough track record here before this year to back up my thoughts about this. My problems with Aaron Boone are the exact opposite of things that are right about Buck Showalter. My problems with Aaron Boone, and part of this goes to Brian Cashman. Sorry. Brian Cashman has put together another flawed team year after year. Holes in the lineup, guys who can't hit with runners in scoring position, pitchers who don't pitch deep enough into games. But Aaron Boone, stop apologizing. I got a couple problems with Aaron Boone. And I'll go back. Let me start by going backwards. That Aaron Boone is still here because Aaron Boone allowed the team to say, you can come back if these guys can go. Coaches, including his best friend in baseball, Phil Nevin. Now, you can like Nevin, you can not like Nevin, and what, he did. The Yankees did lead the league in getting guys to run out of home plate. Well, I like aggressive baseball, and I'm okay. Show me the other side of that stat and how many guys scored because Phil Nevin sent them and somebody else wouldn't have. And then that stat means something to me. Otherwise, it doesn't. But the Yankees have many new coaches this year because that's the only way Aaron Boone could come back and keep his job. And I have no respect for a guy who throws his people under the bus. And that's how he keeps his job. Awful. Awful, awful. That's number one. Number two, it's the same thing over and over again. We overanalyze everything. Analytics is everything on this team, as it is in baseball. Don't get me wrong. Even Buck has embraced it a little bit, but he still manages by his gut when he needs to. There's no feel for the game from Aaron Boone. Last week, I think it was Sunday, Cortez is pitching a great game into through the fifth inning, shutting out the Orioles, not taxing himself greatly, but the script said he could only pitch 5 innings, and I need my 6th inning guy in there, and my 7th inning guy after that, my 8th inning guy after that. So 3 consecutive relievers come in and just stink. But that's what the script said I have to do. Don't pay attention to what's going on in front of you out on the field, Aaron, and probably the rest of baseball. Manage with some by your gut now and again. Show a little Billy Martin in you. That's number one. Number two, overusing and it's tied to the same thing. Overusing the bullpen. The bullpen is very good, and it's going to be blown out by June. And hold guys accountable. Stop going into post-game press conferences and telling me after I watched Joey Gallo stink for another game that you really see good things. You see really good things. Now they've sat him down a little bit now the last few days. But stop telling me he's that close. He's hit some balls hard. He's done this. He's done that. He's been the same ball players that got here last July, who I said then has holes. The only good thing about him coming to Yankee Stadium is he's left-handed. And it hasn't proven to be a help. He walks, strikes out, or hits home runs. He's a 3-outcome guy, just like a lot of baseball again. Complains about the shift. Don't hit into the shift, Joey. And I don't think his makeup is good for New York. But again, that's just one instance. Stop making excuses for these guys, Aaron. Hold them accountable. Just once, go into a press conference and say, Joey Gallo or whoever we're talking about that day, it's time for you to get your head out of your butt and produce. We brought you here to hit with runners in scoring position, and you didn't do it. We can't be leaving 11 guys on base, 12 guys on base, 9 guys on base. If the rest of this team isn't going to hit, you can't have non-hitters like Falafa and Higgy or whoever's going to catch. You can't afford to eat those non-offensive players in your lineup. You can if the rest of the team's hitting and they're making the plays defensively. I'm okay with that. But this team's got to hit. Judge has got to hit. Gallo's got to hit. Stanton's got to hit. Donaldson. I told you Donaldson. Everybody talking about Judge and not give him a contract because he doesn't play enough games. You brought in a guy who plays less than him. You got a guy in center field who's played less than Judge over the last 6 years, 5 years. Aaron Boone is, again, teams feed off their manager. And Aaron Boone, if he's going to be an excuse maker and an enabler of these players, they're going to take advantage of it. And this team plays with no fire. No fire at all. When Luis Severino pitched last, you saw some great energy out of him, and I think it played into the rest of the team. You need some guys to do this. So you're going to need to see some of the influx of kids, whether it be Volpe or Peraza, whoever it is, or maybe both, coming up here in the next couple of months and giving an influx of energy to this team. And the team didn't play well last year until some of the stars got hurt, and they had to fill in with guys out of the minors. But Boone needs to be the leader there. Show a little bit more emotion here and there, huh? I mean, yeah, you got yourself thrown out of the game when a game was over last week on a called strike, whatever. But it's not just, I'm not saying be a rah-rah guy. I'm saying show leadership by calling guys out and holding them accountable. Buck Showalter, on the other hand, does exactly that. Has it burned some bridges for him? Yes. But you talk to players that have played for him in the past and guys that he might have gotten on and maybe they didn't like playing for him necessarily in the moment, many of them speak highly of Buck today. I can't think of a better example than Manny Machado. Manny Machado, Buck was all over in Baltimore, and they ended up trading him away. But if you ask Manny Machado about Buck today, he'll tell you that he feels he let Buck down. He speaks very highly of Buck Showalter. Don't tell me Buck Showalter can't relate to players today, because he can. All he cares about is playing the game fundamentally sound and playing it the way it's meant to be played, and knowing the game situations and approaching your plate appearance, or if you're on the mound, approaching that batter, knowing what the game situation is and doing so appropriately. I've seen some really cool things out of the Mets with this 10-4, I think. And I give Buck credit for a lot of that. Yes, guys are hitting. Lindor's hitting. Alonso's hitting. These guys are all hitting and they're pitching really well. But again, a change in culture and knowing somebody's going to hold you accountable plays into some of that as well. It's up to the players who produce, but it's up to the manager to set the tone. And Buck sets the right tone. And you also see Buck coaching guys up on the side, in the dugout. I don't know how many times I've seen this year, and I haven't watched a lot of Met games. You know, when the Yankees are off, I'll turn the Mets on, and I'll switch back and forth. You know, whoever gets over first. If the Yankees are over first, I'll watch the end of the Met game. But I've watched shots of the dugout where Buck almost always seems to have a player next to him talking to him about the situation that they're in and how they should approach it. And again, I don't hear the conversation, so maybe not every conversation is about that, so don't call me out on that. But I like the way that he talks, especially Lindor. Lindor has wanted Buck's advice and wanted Buck in his ear. And I think it's shown in the Mets play this year. Buck Showalter knows more about every game situation and how to approach every game situation than Aaron Boone will ever know. Because these guys, and Aaron Boone, and look, Buck's got into analytics a little bit because you have to today to survive. but he still will manage by his gut. He'll still manage by things he's got in his brain from knowing a game situation with this guy at the plate or that guy on the mound. Throughout years, he's just got a brain that soaks up that information. So the next time that happens, he'll remember. And he won't just go looking in his book and say, oh, this is what we need to do because this guy's left-handed and it's Tuesday at 2:00 and I've got a right-hander on the mound who didn't have breakfast today, but he had steak for dinner last night. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating. But it's not far from this, guys. Buck remembers real game situations. Not what the analytics will say based off of whatever numbers you want to throw out there. And that's a difference between the Yankees and the Mets. The Mets look like they're having fun. The Mets are playing with some excitement and some energy. Yeah, they're winning, so that helps. But Buck has changed the culture. And I think these players know that they're going to be held accountable if they don't perform in certain situations. Where the Yankees don't. The Yankees look like they're out there just going to work every day, doing a job. Nobody's having any fun. The Mets are. Winning does that. I get it. But the Yankees have won the last several years, at least in the regular season, and I have not seen that type of energy except for a handful of times. I want to see that energy, and maybe it's going to take bringing kids up from the minors to get some of that energy in the lineup. Maybe it's going to take bringing a manager in here like Buck Showalter. The Yankees had their opportunity last summer, and they thought about it for a split second. But, Buck is his own man. Buck isn't going to do, he's not going to follow the script that the front office sends down and says, here's what we're planning tonight. This isn't a Broadway play, guys. This is baseball. And you need to manage according to the moment that you're in, not what the papers and the analytics tell you. So who wins, Buck versus Boone? Buck in a landslide. Has Buck won any World Series? Nope. But Buck has turned a bunch of bad baseball teams into really good winning baseball teams that have been flawed and didn't have a chance to win a World Series. He's got one now. If his pitching stays healthy, I want to see Buck. Listen, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm rooting for the Yankees to get to the World Series and win. And I want to be wrong about all of this, guys, before you call me out as a hater. And why am I posting negative Yankee stuff to your group? I don't wear rose-colored glasses either. I expect more. I expect more than one World Series in 19 years. One World Series appearance. I'm sorry, one World Series win, 2 appearances. My bad. So the Yankees are in this boat until, in my mind, Aaron Boone is removed. And we get somebody in there who will hold guys accountable. I don't know who it is. Because, we got cookie cutter managers except for a handful of guys. Don't tell me Joe Girardi was so much better either, because Joe Girardi leaned on this analytics just as much as Aaron Boone in my mind and did not have a good feel for the game. He did at one point, but I think Joe's time has come and gone. You can have guys with roles. I get it. But let's manage those people and those roles with a little bit of feel for what's going on the field, and watch Buck Showalter during the games and watch Aaron Boone during the games and watch them after the games, and you'll see the huge difference that I'm talking about. I want to be wrong, guys. Aaron Boone, I want you to win Manager of the Year and win the World Series. If that can't happen, I'll root for Buck. I'm not a Met fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll root for Buck. Keith Dangle for TGI Sports Talk right here on Northern Streams.